Hey, I want to talk to you about something that I think is really important to know, on this journey of quitting drinking, which is something so many of us have struggled with. I know me, it took me years. There's one thing that I wish I had known early on that would have made this whole thing a lot easier. And the reality is that understanding this, I found, has been key to getting where we want to go. Like understanding this for my clients means there's a lot more sort of easy sailing down the road. I'm going to cut the suspense and just get right to what I want to talk about. There is no right way to do this. There is no right way to quit drinking. There is no guaranteed path. There is no program you can buy that will absolutely get you there. There is no 30 days to freedom. None of that stuff is guaranteed to work for you. It might, which is why you need to try things. But my goal in this video today is to help you to understand the very simple fact that this process isn't about perfection. This process isn't about finding that one thing that's actually going to get you there. This process is about investigating yourself, about looking inside. Whether you're working with a coach or a therapist or some sort of group program, the process is about understanding what works for you and using that to move forward. And very importantly, finding out what doesn't work for you is also very important. You know, it's funny because I will have people come to me after years of trying to quit drinking, and they'll say, I keep doing this, right? I bought this book, or I follow this program, or I do this thing, and I keep doing the same thing over and over, and it's not working, and I just don't know what to do. Can you help me use this to move forward? And my answer is always like, well, no. Like, if it's not working, it's not working. And that's, by the way, not a shame on you or anyone else. All it means is whatever solution that we're trying to use at the moment isn't getting us where we need to go. Let's take a step back and find something that does work. It's so funny how locked in we can get. We can get so assured oh, well, I need to quit drinking this way. And if I don't, then I'm never going to get there. That's just not true. And it's not backed up by evidence. We are a wide range of people with lots of different experiences and backgrounds, right? Lots of different strengths and weaknesses. There is no one thing. So what does this mean? Well, what this means is as we're getting to the end of the year here, as we're getting to the time of the year when people are starting to think about, all right, January's around the corner. What's it going to be, right? And we love to think oh, well, I'll quit drinking after the holidays. Well, I want to give you something to think about between now and then, because if you have this in your mind, you can make this journey a lot easier on yourself. There is no right way, meaning there's what works for you. And what works for you might be a little bit from here and a little bit from there. It might be that there are these things that you really enjoy and really, really help you. And then there are going to be these things from over here that help. And then, ooh, you know what? I want to stay away from that. What this means is that your entire journey up until now with this, if you feel oh man, I've hit the wall over and over, I keep failing, right? You're not failing. That's information. And that information is going to help you get to where you need to go. One of the things that comes up a lot this time of year is people having alcohol in their home. And I remember I've had people who have been able to quit with alcohol in their home. Maybe their partner drinks or whatever. They just have a collection. And I've had people who haven't been able to. What I find really interesting is when someone's trying to quit drinking and they've got alcohol in their house and then they drink it and they're like, ooh, that's not good. And then they keep the alcohol in their house. And then they drink it and they go, ooh, that's not good. And this is happening. I can't tell you the number of people I've talked to who have done this, including me, by the way, where it's all right, I'm going to quit drinking, but there is a big bottle of scotch right there on the kitchen counter. And I see it every day when I come home. The fact that I couldn't quit drinking with that bottle of scotch in my house does not mean I'm a failure, right? All that means is I shouldn't try to do this with a bottle of scotch in the house. That's it. That's it. And so this is what I'm talking about. There is no right way. There's information everywhere. If we can take that information and use it on our path, whatever the hell it is, it's great. Maybe for you, it means you can't go out at first. That was the case for me. I had to stay home for a little bit till I got my sea legs under me. Maybe for you, it's that you can't have a bottle of scotch in your house, which again was the case for me. When I did quit, by the way, I had a bottle of wine in my house and it wasn't a problem. Even though I did drink one, I don't know why. I don't know why that was the case, but scotch was too much of a temptation, right? There's no right way. And what this means is that you need to figure out, oh, this piece works and that piece works. And I know I'm repeating myself here, but I'm doing it for a good reason, right? I often see people that want like checklists, right? They want things to do. This is all good stuff to consider. This is good stuff to think about, but nothing's guaranteed to work for you. The best way to figure out what's going to work for you is to try shit and to know this works and this doesn't work. And if you can do that with a coach or a group, you're going to get to where you want to go. There is a problem, and I see this all the time. People will think, oh, I should do this or I shouldn't do that. And the shoulds are not really based on personal experience. They're based on what other people told them. They're based on some story they read online. All of this stuff is valid input, but it's not about should or shouldn't. It is about what works or what doesn't work. I'll give you another example. One thing that comes up really often in coaching is moderation. And, I had, there's one client in particular I can remember. I had him a few years ago, and he, in our first call, was like, I'm going to moderate. And I'm like, okay, like this comes up a lot. This is something a lot of people want to do. And I think to myself, okay, this is a conversation that comes up all the time. And so I explained to this client, I said, listen, a small percentage of us can actually moderate after we've, gone down the alcohol use disorder road. It just has to do with the way our brains are wired and how drinking a lot changes, the neural pathways that are in our minds. And, that doesn't always fully change back. And, I explain all of it. And so I said to him, I said, listen, I'm willing to go down this road with you because I don't know if you're in that small percentage or not, but here's what I need from you, right? I need you to be radically honest with yourself. And I need you to talk to me about the plan. And so he agreed. And so we start working together, right? And again, I've seen so many people go down this road. And the way it usually works out is someone has a plan and they try it and maybe they stick to it for one day, maybe even a week. But then pretty soon they find themselves pouring more than they thought, or more often than they thought, or more days than they thought, right? Or whatever the rules are. And that's generally how we try to do this. Well, this guy did it and he blew my mind. And he was pouring exacting measurements every single night. And actually it was he and his wife that were doing it together. And so through doing this, he actually cut way back on how much he drank. And he got to a point where he was drinking. And I mean, it was I think it was an ounce. So a shot of wine, which is for those of us who have had a lot of alcohol, that's really not much alcohol. He got to a point where he's like, this is just not worth it. I just don't like it anymore. I don't enjoy it. And so why am I telling you this story? Well, I'm telling you this story because that was what worked for him. If he could have gone online and searched, can you taper down? Can you do this? And you would see all different types of stuff, right? There's going to be people that say, yes, it's the best way possible. There are going to be people that say, no, it's scientifically impossible. He asked his coach. And even I was a little well, I don't normally see this work, but we'll try, right? This is the heart of what I'm talking about, right? You need to find what works for you. Talk to people, read books, look at resources, do things that help you decide what path is right for you. Don't let someone kind of pigeonhole you and say this is the way, right? It could be, it absolutely could be, but it also might not. And I find that all of this noise about the right thing to do and moving in the right direction and, making it happen overnight and all of this stuff, I need to get there and I can't make any mistakes and I need to find this, that energy often stops us from making the progress we want to make. Here's sort of the bottom line. And this is the thing that I find really kind of funny, but it's true. And I've seen it over and over and over. When we let go of this idea that there's an exact right way, when we let go of the shoulds and the shouldn'ts and all of that, and when we just focus on how we feel and working toward a solution, 9 times out of 10, change happens way faster. The idea that there's a right way, the idea that we're doing something right or wrong, that causes so much noise and it slows us way down. So here's a gift to give yourself this Christmas, right? Give yourself the gift of listening to you, of letting go of this idea of a right way or a wrong way and embracing your way, right? Whatever that is. In doing this, you can make a massive impact in your journey. And as a matter of fact, dare I say it, like it could be even more enjoyable. So take a minute to think about that, right? What is my way? What are the things that have worked? What are the things that haven't worked? And how do I want to move forward? If you spend some time on that, get rid of all the noise of what you quote unquote should do, things will start to become clear and you'll start to be able to move in the direction that works best for you.